साईं इतना दीजिए जामे कुटुंब समाए, मैं भी भूखा ना रहूं, साधु न भूखा जाए कबीरा, साधु न भूखा जाए। साईं इतना दीजिए जामे कुटुंब समाए, मैं भी भूखा ना रहूं, साधु न भूखा जाए कबीरा, साधु न भूखा जाए। Oh God, grant me such wealth. Oh God, give me so much wealth. Sai itna dijiye that my community is fed. Jame kutumbh samaye. I also don't remain hungry. मैं भी भूखा ना रहूं means even my needs and my necessities are met. Sadhu na bhooka jaye, nor the pandit goes hungry. So he's saying, please pray that God grants you such wealth that you are not left hungry, the community is fed, and also the pandit doesn't go hungry. Interesting, yesterday evening, in fact, I had a couple students, they came to see me, and in the long discussion we had, the gentleman was saying of his association with these Vedic schools which teach these young kids to become pandits, these Vedic scholars where they do pujas and rituals and Vedic chants, etc. They devote their entire growing life from the very young age to the age of 16, 17. They spend 13, 14 years, right? And it's a very rigorous curriculum they go through right from early morning, right throughout the day. It's not easy to go through that, to become those Vedic pandits. And he was very concerned what happens to them. And after they become full-time Vedic pandits or and go about doing what they are told to do, they want to do, they end up getting just 20,000 rupees a month, 15, 20,000 rupees a month. And that's all their life is. And then he was saying, these people are brilliant because you got to have that inner, you and I may not have. So they're very brilliant. They're very smart, very, very sharp at things. But they are just told to do this and do it. And tomorrow, they say, in fact, people don't want to marry them. They can't live a normal life. And they go about upholding this Vedic culture, and they just are thrown pittance in it. And he is so desperate he went up to that Vedic scholar who is grooming these young kids. Can we not do some kind of modernization so that these people are educated and they're also respected and they can earn a healthy lifestyle, a healthy living, and they're also accepted by the community so that people can, want to find partnership with them, so that they become normal people. So otherwise they're put in a compartment, a corner, and it's a very pitiable condition. I'm just sharing something which is so fresh late in the evening. Gayatri Ma would know what I'm, because she was there when they were saying they were. Sadhu na bhuka jaye. And I was telling exactly the same thing to them, that if you tell me that I should go 9 to 5 job because I need to give myself bread and butter to feed my family. If I have to do that, I would never ever do that because that's not me. And yet, the reality of life is there are necessities. Everybody have necessities. Little less, little more. So Kabirji talks of how the society should look at these people who devote and sacrifice their whole life to uphold this great parampara, this culture, this knowledge, this tradition. And those who are empowered with wealth should learn to part with not for their own well-being and amass and aggrandize, but they should part with it so that the community there's an equality. The community is well fed. And also, don't forget sadhu. He's talking about those wise people who are not economically driven. They are not into the finances. They're not interested in it because I can either be interested in that or interested in this. Believe me, I can't do both. If I have to take care of my financial needs, I'll not be able to teach this knowledge to you. So you tell me what I should do. If I have to come and teach this knowledge to you, that somebody has to take care of it. I can't tell you to take care of it. But exactly the same thing Guru is telling. Do it, man. You give. In fact, in blunt words, he's saying, it's like a guru telling you, serve me, take care of me, provide for my needs. As simple as that, isn't it? In blunt terms, he's saying, you make sure your guru is provided for. These people who are devoting their time, you take care of it. In fact, in the Gita, he says 3 qualities of a student. He says, the first 2 are not in the context, but the third one. First, he says, question the guru. Prashnena. Intellectually question the guru. Don't take anything for granted. Emotionally be devoted to the guru. At the physical level, sevaya, serve the guru. So it seems very jarring if the guru were to tell the student, serve me, wouldn't it? But the guru is saying in the Gita, and so is Kabirji suggesting here, and he was a sadhu himself. So what would it need for a man to say that? What quality does it need if the guru is telling the student, serve me? Why? I'll explain. But what is that quality the guru is practicing when he says that? Otherwise, these gurus are the most selfish fellows. They can't be. But what makes them a class apart is that quality. So the question is, what is the quality the guru is practicing when he tells the student to serve him? Even in the typical Vedic times, the student was supposed to serve the guru even before he received any knowledge from the guru. Before that, you wouldn't get it. He would say, I'm not interested to teach you. So a precondition, as it were, is you must serve first. Otherwise, you're not an adhikari. Going by the terms in the Shastras, adhikari is when you have served. Now, step by step, what's the quality the guru is practicing when he says that? Kamalji, any idea?
One thing, actually, two things are coming to my mind. First thing is the quality of Shraddha, the faith in the Guru, to develop that. And second is the
That is from the
humbleness.
perspective. That is from the perspective of the student, isn't it? The
Right.
student should have Shraddha or faith in the Guru. But my
Right.
question is from the standpoint of the Guru himself. So what is the quality the Guru is practicing when he's telling the student to serve him? Are you able to get the context, sir?
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking the other way around previously. Now,
yeah, that's why I had to interfere and said, so the thinking is from the student's perspective. I'm saying from the Guru's perspective, because we should not misunderstand the tone or the message here. We should not misunderstand.
maybe
Considering, just to give you another additional help in the question, considering whatever a Guru does is for the benefit of the student. That benefit of doubt, as you said, the faith in the Guru, that the Guru does some only in the interest of the student.
right.
A true Guru does.
Yeah, so maybe to understand the student, where he needs where are the gaps of the student, or understanding more the student, or coming more closer to the student. Closer in the sense from mentally perspective, understanding how the student thinks, and so that way Guru can direct in the right direction. I don't know. Maybe I meant.
Again, I'm coming back to the point. What is the quality Guru is practicing, sir? When he says that. So it's like simple, when two individuals are interacting and A is constantly asking B for something for himself. At some point, the B will say, yeah, this fellow only comes to me when he wants something from me. Otherwise, he doesn't care. He's not bothered at all. And all the time, he keeps getting some kind of a favor. He constantly keeps asking something, gets benefited by me. So the impression the B gets is this A is a very selfish fellow. Am I right?
Yeah, but I think, as you mentioned, the Gurus also have to judge different students or adhikaris, what level they are, right? And by asking for service, they just get a feel of that, of the adhikari level.
Okay.
I don't know.
Not wrong. No. None of us are right or wrong. It's just an attempt to understand, So, all right. Okay. Anybody else? What's the quality the Guru is practicing? It is not renunciation, Hariji. It is not that. What's the quality? Sai, any idea?
I think he's very clear in his mind that he is not asking for himself, and he is asking for the benefit of the students.
Sai, the Guru is saying, serve me, full stop.
So he's asking.
He's not telling do to that people, do to that society. He's saying, serve me first. What have you done to me? Sevaya, Guru Sevaya, Adakshanam, Guru Dakshanam, they say. All this is in the context. That's what I'm saying. So use not Dakshanam, Adakshanam to the society. He also talks about the society, community must be fed. Yes, that also is there. But then he says, feed me first. Feed me also. Feed the Guru. Means take care of the Guru. It could be a very gross, selfish standpoint, a very lowest or the very highest. It can't be the lowest. So I'm talking of the very high standpoint where Guru is taking. So what is that quality?
Love, out of love for his student.
Lava. He's whipping you up and saying love.
So
Isn't it? He's
once
saying
the
you.
ego of the student comes down, maybe
Hmm.
to reduce the ego.
Sir, you're all thinking from the student's point. I'm telling from the teacher. What is the quality teacher is practicing? You're telling why is the guru telling? I'm not talking of why the guru is telling the student to serve. That's the next step. The first step is what is the quality the guru is practicing when he says that? I see that you're all shifting to the student's perspective.
Yeah, he himself is asking to serve, so he is also asking in that sense, right? He is
Therefore, he also is selfish.
no, not selfish. He is
Then
also practicing some humility to ask. So, I mean, when you ask someone for help, I mean, maybe that's the only thing I could think.
I've done my job to make you think, Sai. No problem. I don't think that's the quality. Rajima, I don't think sacrifice. What sacrifice? How can it be sacrifice, Rajima?
Guruji has sacrificed worldly pursuits, and he's pursuing the higher, and he's imparting the knowledge, that knowledge to you. So he's sacrificed all his comforts, his needs, and so he's wanting to.
So he found a new bakra.
Oh no,
What is it then?
no.
What is it? What has that sacrifice got to do with he's telling the student to serve him? I don't know whether I'm able to pitch in the concept right. We're not questioning anything of that what the guru has done to be where he is, but I'm only saying on what stance he says. Yeah, RPG. Sir, you must change the color of your hand.
Well, I didn't choose the color of my hand.
No, either you change the color of your wall or change the color of the hand. Which is easier one, you decide.
Oh, we'll get on it.
No, give an answer to that first. This can wait.
I
No,
don't
because
know
your
the answer to that.
your hand and your wall color is same. So even when you raise your hand, I don't see it.
Oh, I see.
And now
I'll talk
you see.
I'll talk to the guru here and see what she says.
Correct. That's the point. Milima,
Yeah.
please attend to it. Or get Arpit to attend to it. You don't have to give instructions. Okay. Yes, RPG.
So I don't know if this is right, but there's a sense of objectivity here or realism.
Absolutely
where
right.
he's
That's
saying, first things first, objectively, in order for me to provide this, I need to be provided for.
And when he says that, he's very objective to himself. So he's saying it from what is objectivity?
Without bias or disregard to my own personal.
Correct. Without any bias.
Satisfying myself.
Yeah, he is not bringing his own personality into the equation. Absolutely right. Perfect. I'm so glad you got that. The guru is practicing 100% objectivity. Objectivity means he's a sakshi when he says that. He treats himself as a third person when he says that. Serve me. It doesn't mean serve me. You are serving me, but it is not me as an individual. I'm not talking from my individual perspective. I'm saying because the truth has to be spoken. This is the truth. The truth is you will get benefited from this knowledge only when you serve. If you don't serve, so the point stands very clear. Perfect, RPG. The guru is objective. A true guru is very objective to it.
And isn't it, Guruji, that also when a true guru, self-realized soul says me, he's not talking about the physical me, right? He's talking about the self. Serve me as in serve.
That also, then again, it goes beyond the purview of the context.
Yeah.
Because the context, I said, three qualities: question the guru, be devoted to the guru, serve the guru. But the capital me means the Atman, the self. But in the context, the word me is the guru. When he says sadhu na bhuka jai, what does it mean? It doesn't mean the Atman doesn't go dry and hungry. It doesn't mean Atman, Brahman. It means you look into what your guru needs. Literally, you literally go down to the needs of your guru and say, what does my guru need? What are his needs? Does it bother you to even have you put in an effort to look into what is his needs? Oh, he is well taken care of. That is not your problem. Have you applied yourself and seen what are his needs? He may be well provided. That is not your concern. Now coming to the next point. All right. The next point is, why is the guru telling the student to serve him? Because if the student were to receive the knowledge without being mindful of giving, the student would remain to be selfish and ungrateful. So the entire reason why a teacher is directly telling the student to serve is to shed his selfishness. You are being a taker, man. And if you are a taker, this knowledge will not serve you. If you want to grow spiritually, you've got to be a giver. And you start that quality of giving by giving to the guru first. And then you give to the community, then you give to society. Obviously, you take care of yourself as well, not at the cost of yourself. But you got to learn to give and start that giving with to the guru first. And so the guru is helping you to shed your selfishness here, not because the guru needs. If the guru is saying because he needs, then he's selfish fellow. Bakra mil gaya, isko kaato. How can I squeeze this fellow, milk this fellow for myself? It's not that kind of an attitude. You don't abuse. In fact, yesterday the gentleman and the family came. They were so sweet. I'm meeting them for the first time. I've hardly known them. I'm meeting the family for him for the first time in the family. He was so generous in his thought, and he offered certain things. I said, when the time comes right, it will happen, sir. It's all divine. The fact that you say that is divine providence that is playing its role, mysteriously playing its role. When the time comes right, it will happen. I just said it will happen. And when it has to happen, you will be a part of the happening. But when he offered, if I said, yes, we need it, take it, let me take it, let me grab it. I said, no. I prostrate to your thought. When the time is right, let it mature. That's all I said. So it's from a receiver, I should be very careful not to abuse the goodwill of others. I'm not doing it for myself. Even if I want to do it for the foundation, for the cause, I should not abuse your giving and say, okay, he wants to give, or there is an avenue I can take it or grab it. I should not think that way. I wouldn't think. I'll be uncomfortable. I'm committing a sin. Just because you're willing to give, I grab it or I take it. It's not right on my part. And yet I'm telling you, give. There's a very thin line, a very thin line. So I'm telling you to serve and give so that you grow. And yet I will not abuse your attitude to give. If I abuse your attitude to give, I am a taker, I am selfish. I'm telling you to serve because you will grow only by serving. You will not grow if you do not serve. Sevaya, you must serve. So the stance is very clear. The guru, when he says this, he is taking the stance of complete objectivity. And he is telling, in the interest of the student. And the only interest of the student is so that the student sheds his selfishness and his self-centeredness and learns to develop that attitude of being grateful to pay back. The famous words of who was it? Was it Buddha? Pariji, please correct me. Are you there? Or was it Christ? think Christ is. One is in deathbed. When few of the students went up to him and asked, what is your parting message? He said, he is best amongst you who is best at repaying. He is best amongst you all. Please write that down, Rajima, for everybody, please. He is best amongst you who is best at repaying. Christ, yes, it's Christ. He is best amongst you. It's the language of the Bible, the Christ. He is best amongst you who is best at repaying. And to qualify that, repaying, you keep paying with the attitude that you can never repay. This is the attitude with which I operate. You continue to repay. Please write this statement also, Ma. You continue to repay with the attitude that you can never repay. I don't think Vasantama is there here. Vasanta Seturaman. Other day I was having a dialogue with her, and I was talking to her. She said this, Guruji, the purpose, one of the purposes you came back is well served, because I was in a point where there was a situation where I had to be there for my family, for my father. It was timely help, which he was needed some attention. So the fact that you're here, you could do that. Okay, then I say, correct, I have done my part. Now I have repaid everything what my father has done to me, full stop. And then I go to him and say, account settled. Huh? Ushama, UK, can I go back to my father? Not that he's asking, or not that, if I'm operating in terms of he is best amongst you, who is best at repaying, father-son relationship. The son goes to the father and say, now I have repaid and settled all my accounts and loans. I've calculated with the latest software in the market. I've calculated this is all done. This is all done. I think today with this act, I have settled. Therefore, I've got nothing to do with you. Even though you're father and son, I have all repaid to what you have done. Is it ever possible for a son to say to his parents that you have repaid them what they have done?
No, Guruji, you can never do that. You can never say that. It can never be repaid.
It can never be repaid. So I will continue to repay for all what they have done with the attitude that I can never repay them back. It's an astounding concept. It's an astounding feeling. If you are, then you are never grateful. You will never become a taker. You are always, then you evolve.
In fact, you should be thankful for the opportunity you have got, Guruji.
To serve. Absolutely. You must be extremely thankful for the opportunity on the other side of it, isn't it?
Many of us don't get that opportunity.
Many of us don't get the opportunity. And to thank that opportunity, instead of thanking, we say, I've paid back.
It's a gross sin.
It's a gross sin, very gross sin. There was a student who couldn't contribute her dakshina. Nothing is, as you know, there's no
Compulsion.
quantitative, it's not a quantitative or a compulsion. But at one point, that student told me, I don't want to say because everybody is all recorded, is all there, and people will be listening to it many a time. But I'm not trying to insult that person, but just something that comes as a flash. And what I told that person, that I want to negotiate Guru Dakshina with you, she said. I said, what? Negotiate Guru Dakshina? What negotiation you're talking about? First of all, then I told, have you ever been told to do it? No. No, Guruji, I'm not in a position to pay. Who asked you to pay? Did I ever ask you? Has anybody from the foundation contacted you and told you you pay? Please give their names. It will be dealt with. No, Guruji, please don't get me wrong. Nobody has told, nor have you ever said. But, what but? I'm not in a position. This is the time you please need to come because you are emotionally drained out. You need help. Don't worry of that. Continue to come. So where is the attitude of negotiating with the Guru? Vis-a-vis, serve in whatever way you can with the attitude that you can never pay them back. And this a Guru does objectively, not in the interest of the Guru, but in total interest of the student. And if a student doesn't understand, it can be easily misunderstood. Therefore, I'm highlighting the concept because it's sadhuna bhukana jai. So, oh God, grant me so much wealth. Along with the wealth, grant me the wisdom also. Huh? So that I can serve the humanity at large. If that wisdom is not there, what happens? Paresh, if there's only wealth and no wisdom, what happens?
If there's only wealth and no wisdom, I will not know how to share and distribute my wealth correctly.
Then what would you do?
I mean, it's to use my intellect to part with my wealth in the correct channels and to share my wealth.
Yeah. Now, if you don't have the wisdom, if you don't share and part, as he says, to the community, you provide for your own needs, man. Don't be foolish. Provide for your needs as well. At the same time, he says, serve your guru or whatever. But if that wisdom doesn't prevail and there's only wealth, so wealth minus wisdom equals what? Sort of an equation, I'm saying. We're creating new equations here. Correct, Ramji? We have not spoken these equations before, correct? Wealth plus wisdom equals what? Wealth minus wisdom equals what?
Well, if we have wealth without the wisdom, we will just hoard. I mean, I don't know the one single word, but I know the
No,
gist
please.
is,
You can explain yourself, please.
wealth minus wisdom is basically, we are just going to create an attitude of selfishness, of hoarding the wealth for our personal gain and use. And we might be squandering the wealth without appropriating the wealth in the correct way. Wealth plus wisdom is serving the greater cause, serving the higher cause collectively for ourselves and the community at large, without any expectation of any fruit.
So in short, absolutely right. In fact, we could easily say that when you use wisdom with wealth, you bring about a larger good. In effect, you evolve, you grow spiritually. In fact, the more you give, the more you get also. That's another law which works beautifully, fascinatingly. It works. The more you give, the more you get. Oh, thank you, I'll stop giving. Then you lose. The more you get, the more you give, the more you give, the more you get, you'll get more, you'll have more to give. As Khalil Gibran says, those who give, their coffers are never empty. True givers, their coffers are never empty. Always keeps filling. I don't know how it fills. He says they're never empty. You've got to be a giver to experience that. Oh, I've got this. Let me invest here and save it and lock it there. 20 years locked. I also can't touch it. Why? Because if I touch it, I must spend it. So lock it. What is the lock-in period? 20. Please extend the lock-in period. Even my family also should not lock it, tap it. I and me only. That kind of a possessive attitude. So when you don't, so wisdom minus, so wealth minus wisdom, you devolve, you spiritual devolve. To mark the words of Oliver Goldsmith. Hariji, you know the words of Oliver Goldsmith in the context? I know you raise your hand for something else, but if you can clarify this, the famous words of Oliver Goldsmith. Yeah.
No, I don't remember. I don't.
Where wealth accumulates,
Yes,
men decay.
Decay, yeah.
Isn't it? Wealth
Yeah.
minus wisdom, you spiritually decay. So never ever allow your wealth to accumulate. And all you're doing is acquiring is to accumulate. Oh, I've invested this much in this one, I've invested in that one, it is getting me that much return. This all the time. You have no time to calculate all your investments. You don't even know where you're invested. Yeah. All the time thinking of what I can get for myself, you decay. So how to ensure you don't decay? Start to part wealth with your community, with the needy. That's what it says. Jame kutumbha samay. So you enlarge your kutumbha, enlarge your community. Your circle of identification goes beyond your own immediate kith and kin, and you embrace the community, larger interest. And while doing that, don't forget yourself. He says, "Main bhi bhooka na jaye." Don't forget yourself. Sadhu na bhooka jaye. So the only way to ensure you don't stagnate, you don't decay, is by learning to part with wealth. Yes, Hariji, boliye.
Guruji, when we say that learning to part with the wealth, here the wealth also can be wisdom. Is it not? The most valuable wealth is wisdom.
That leave it to the Guru.
That is what the Guru is dishing out.
The context of wealth here means
Material wealth.
gross commodity.
Okay.
He's not talking about the wisdom of wealth, because he says, grant me so much wealth that the community is fed. It obviously talks about the material wealth. But that is the beginning of giving. The first step, the baby step of giving, is to part with materiality. Before that, you're only feeding yourself. So the first step out of selfishness is material service. Then comes physical service. Then comes intellectual service. Then comes emotional service, intellectual service. Then comes spiritual service. I repeat, the first baby step out of selfish acquisition is material service. So superior to material is physical service. Superior to physical is emotional. Superior to emotional, intellectual. And the highest of all services is Atma Vidya, to give the knowledge of the self, which is a spiritual service. So, but you have to learn, you have to pick up that quality of giving. All right, Hariji. In fact, there's a beautiful saying in the context. It said, he who receives a benefit should never forget it. If you have been benefited in some way, never forget it. He who receives a benefit, never forget it. He who bestows should never remember it. He who receives a benefit should never forget it. I repeat, he who receives a benefit should never forget it. He who bestows should never remember it. Don't keep gloating what you have done, man. I don't know whether I don't know whether it's captured or not. The other day I was mentioning a statement. There's a difference between giving and vis-a-vis being a giver. Many people misconstrue an act of giving to becoming or taking a stance of a giver at all times. It's not to give once or twice and say, oh, I've given. That's not it. There's a difference between an act of giving vis-a-vis taking a stance of a giver at all times. Sai, the difference. Can you repeat that last sentence?
Not a one-time giving, giving for life. You're a giver for life, not just a day or
an act or a moment. So there's a difference between giving at moments vis-a-vis taking an attitude of a giver. So if you have an attitude of a giver, let's say if you're practicing the attitude of a giver at home, you're all the time thinking, what can I do to my family? In what way can I assist the family? And I'm expecting the family to take care of me and complaining that they're not doing what I want. Then I'm not a giver, isn't it? I'm constantly expecting society to begin with my own family to think in my interest. No, let me see what can I do to the family, not what can I get from the family. So the stance, when that stance changes and I'm a giver, it changes the whole complexion of life.
yes.
So there's even though he puts it simply, bluntly, if you expand on it and take a larger philosophical perspective, we understand where it all fits in. Right. Okay. So difficult to justify these great men. Not easy. Because it's so easy to misunderstand them. So easy to misunderstand. So you need to spend the time to decode their pure stance. Why we are spending so much time? Because our minds are impure. बुरा जो देखन में चला बुरा न मिला कोई जो मुख देखा अपना मुझसे बुरा न कोई. The problem is if my mind is negative, I'll look at everything negative. Because our minds are not as pure as these wise men, we are trying to refine our thought processes so that we don't misunderstand these great men. That's the reason we are trying to be very careful. Okay. All right. We'll come back. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.